Want to learn martial arts training for film and television? Even how to do stunt fighting choreography? That's what we'll answer in today's video. Hi, my name is Dylan Wilson with CBT Stunt Alliance. Train hard, perform easy. We help actors, stunt performers, filmmakers, and content creators learn professional stunt training for use in film, TV, and live action entertainment. Before we get underway, if you'd like to add stunts to your acting skill set, or launch your career in professional stunts, or even grow to the next level, check out our highly popular online Stunt Performer Master Course at stuntperformerbootcamp.com. You can learn stunts, stunt reactions, falls, stunt fighting for camera, bicycle stunts, how to market your career, and more. You can sign up now and start training now. Go to stuntperformerbootcamp.com for more information, or click on the link below this video. Okay, so we get a lot of questions about martial arts training for film and television for beginners, and what style should I train in, that sort of thing. So we're going to share with you some tips. Now, I'm an experienced stunt coordinator turned full-time director. This is something I actually planned from the beginning of my career, even attending and graduating film school as a director. Along my journey, I realized that being a stunt coordinator made me a better director, and being a director made me a better stunt coordinator. So how this benefits you is that I can share insights and experience from both sides of the camera and throughout all phases of production. Tip 1, stunt fighting is, repeat after me, performance art. It's an illusion. It literally is its own art form. Martial arts fighting for live action audiences is an ancient art form. Been around for a long time. Reenactments of great battles are as old as war itself. And this was practiced by many cultures around the world. Modern day stage combat and even stunt fighting for film and TV evolved from that. So it's not new. And here's a key thing to know. All of stunts, when done properly, are an illusion, like magic. Let's take a look from a fight scene from Avengers Civil War. Pay close attention to both the hits and reactions. Some very exciting and compelling fight scenes. Very good fight choreography. Two things you can take away from it is, know this, that they didn't really hit each other like that. You know, for the most part, they just broke the camera line, you know, which we're going to touch on a bit later, which means they didn't make contact with each other. You know, there are some times when they may have used padding. If they, you know, were certain shots you may need to make contact if there's padding or something involved. Again, all an illusion. And then the rest of it is added in post-production with all the Foley, the sound effects and everything. The second thing, and this is very important, is that acting is a very important part of it. So if you notice, what sold the scene and the hits and helped to build the stakes were the way that the actors acted out the fight. Some of the hits in the choreography, they weren't very complicated. You know, you get slammed up against something, or you grab a pistol or something. It was all the acting that they brought to the performance. That's what makes a difference. And that's one of the key things to know, especially if you're an aspiring stunt performer. A lot of stunt performers tend to just get this serious look in their face in a fight scene, and they just keep that same look the whole time, as opposed to being in that moment and focusing on developing the acting with that character as well. Tip 2, stunt fighting choreography is the physical expression of dialogue. It's still designed to advance the story and evolve characters. For example, I always use this example when I would be teaching classes at different film schools or something. Yet, if you remember with the original Batman, with really all the Batmans, yet we'll say the original one where it was Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, the fight scene was used to actually transform Jack Nicholson's character from the hoodlum to the Joker, right? If it had just been he drank something or hit his head on something and he just became this crazed, insane Joker character, it wouldn't be the same, right? Yet if you look this up and you watch that fight scene, you remember the fight scene, that fight scene is what the director and the writers used to transform the Joker from, you know, a hoodlum in the first place to this maniacal, you know, supervillain. So if you're working with directors, you want to know this, right? And so you want to recognize every fight scene as an opportunity to not only advance the story, yet evolve your character. not just some cool fight scene that's just thrown into a project. Tip 3, martial arts styles are the best to learn. By and large, striking styles are the best for you to learn. And these include styles like CBT, Muay Thai, American Kickboxing, Savate, Karate, Wushu, etc. Grappling styles tend not to be good to study because they're just not in demand and they're just not as cinematic, and I'll explain. So even if you ever watch any of the fights, in any of the organizations, the UFC and other organizations like this, if the people are all wrapped up on the ground with each other, all twisted up, even with all the coverage that they have, it's not very exciting. And so in a movie or a TV show, pacing, is a very important part of it. And if the pacing is, a certain way with the fight, it's easier to maintain the fast pacing, which is usually the case in the fight scene, as opposed to when people are all wrapped up with each other, on the ground, and then there's nothing really happening. Plus the fact that they're usually wrapped or coiled around each other means that it limits the camera angles and you aren't able to get the same amount of a dramatic performance from each actor. It's just the nature of the beast. Again, in our popular Stunt Performer Bootcamp, we teach you striking basics, combinations, and series that you can use in your real auditions and even performances. The link to it is below this video. Tip 4, learn weapon styles as well. Swords, various length swords, clubs, and batons are still very popular, in film and TV. There are tons of shows on where people are using a short sword or a two-handed long sword, or they're using, batons, police batons or something. And having those type of skills really makes you stand out, from other people who are submitting for the role. A lot of times they'll even ask you, hey, you must have sword training experience or must have, some type of weapons training experience for these parts. Good styles to learn for this. One is CBT. The other is HEMA, the European martial arts. HEMA as well as SCA. These arts are very combative. There are many excellent European martial arts styles, and they're very combative, and they get to the good stuff right away, right? Also, Filipino martial arts. Many of the Filipino martial arts also get to weapons training right away. In addition is Kenjutsu. That's probably the one that's most applicable, for film and TV. I trained in like Kendo for a year and other things, and it doesn't apply as much. A Kenjutsu, definitely. Even a Iaido might have some application. Yeah, definitely Kenjutsu. And also, without a doubt, you can train in some stage combat, specifically with swords and weapons. Very common in stage combat to learn swords and daggers. The only caveat with stage combat is it tends to be the swashbuckler type of choreography, and there really isn't a lot of call. How many swashbuckling Zorro movies and TV shows do you see out there, or pirate movies, right? Viking movies, gladiator stuff, all sorts of things like that. So have a discussion with the instructor, of the stage combat school, and let them know what you're doing and express it to them, because you don't want to just have swashbuckling kind of style. You want to be able to use the daggers and swords and stuff as well, so you can play a variety of roles. And there are some excellent stage combat instructors out there who also teach stunt fighting for film and TV. Those are the best, because they can also give you the perspective of film and TV as well as performing to the fourth wall on stage. Now, training all these things will give you a very good foundation in using weapons in both TV and film. Tip 5, technical skills you need to learn. So let's take a look at a movie that I stunt coordinated and was a stunt fighter in back in 2016. This was before fan films became a really big thing. The movie is Red Hood, The Return of Jason Todd. All right, that's a clip from the movie. The link to the full movie is below this video. Now, stunt fighting skills that you must learn include, number one is breaking the camera line. And so this is something we, again, go into with the boot camp, yet just to give you some idea. There is an imaginary line, imagine a fishing line, an imaginary line that goes from the camera to your nose, right? And you have to break this line to register a hit. For the most part, as a rule, especially in the beginning, when you throw strikes and stuff, you stay about 1 foot away from a person. So if someone's throwing a cross at me, this is this far away from me, right? And it's crossing me, right? Yet if I face the camera and we do the same thing, if you notice, the moment that it crosses and I react to it, it registers as a hit. Now, this is knowing the camera line. And as a professional stunt performer, even an actor learning stunts, you have to develop a sixth sense for where the camera is and how to break that camera line. And of course, they'll add the sound effects in post-production, the actual hit sound. That's one of the key things, is knowing that concept. And that's why the training, has to address that. So number one is breaking that camera line. The other thing is, it's two parts. So the stunt fighter throwing the strike has to know how to break that camera line for the camera. And the stunt fighter receiving the strike has to then know what's next, called stunt reactions. And so if this is another fighter and they're throwing a punch at me, and they're breaking the camera line all right, yet if I don't react, it doesn't sell it. Yet if they throw the punch and I react like this, then suddenly, it looks like I've been hit, right? And so that's the initial part of stunt reactions. Like you saw in both video clips that we showed before, it's all the acting as well. So knowing the trigger to initiate your stunt reaction, sequence, because a lot of times when you're fighting, you're getting hit with combinations. It's not just one or two hits a lot of times. So that means you have to work out all the choreography, all your reactions to each of those strikes. And that's an important part of it. Again, that's where the acting comes in. Another skill is how to fall on any surface without getting injured. And if you notice from the Red Hood clip, in the final fight scene, this is the boss fight, at the end of the movie, if you watch the full movie, we were fighting on concrete. This is out in the street, on concrete and asphalt, right? And there was a time towards the end where Red Hood actually hit my character, Reaper, I think his name was, and hit him, and he flipped over and fell on the street. And without missing a beat, produced a knife out of nowhere, right? Now here's the thing. That doesn't sound like the biggest deal, yet remember, on a film or TV set, you're doing that over and over and over again. It's not just one time. When you actually see the final cut, that's the best take. The other challenge with that particular project, which is why I liked it when they asked me to stunt coordinate it, was they filmed it in long takes. Those were the longest takes I've ever performed and stunt coordinated in of any project. They were brutal because you could do an entire take, that's a lot of moves, and get to the very end, and either you make a mistake or your partner makes a mistake, and guess what? You got to shoot the whole thing all over again. And it was freezing cold. It was the winter time. I think it was January or something, like 2016. Or you and your partner, your stunt fighting partner, do everything picture perfectly, yet the DP is not in the right spot. And so the strike doesn't sell. You got to do the whole thing all over again. And that means that each time hitting the asphalt, hitting the pavement, hitting hardwood floors, hitting a wall, hitting a tree. So you have to know how to fall on any surface without getting injured. That all comes from training as well. One last thing is knowing how to perform for different types of shoots. And it's like a single camera shoot or a multi-camera shoot. Again, things that we cover in the Stunt Performer Bootcamp course, yet you have to know which cameras, like if it's a multi-cam shoot, they got 4 cameras going, you have to know which camera to play to. Like that breaking the camera line thing we talked about before, well, you got to know which camera you need to break the camera line to, because you can't break the camera line with all 4 cameras, right? And even with the one camera, is knowing things how to perform with that. So knowing the difference in how you have to modify your performance as a stunt performer or as an actor performing a fight scene or something. It's knowing how to act or perform with whether it's a single camera shoot or a multi-camera shoot. Some of these things you can learn at stunt fighting workshops and with years of on-set experience. You can also learn them easily with our highly popular online stunt training classes, where we teach you how to safely learn, practice, and perform martial arts fighting for film and TV, stunt fighting for camera, as well as all the rules for making you look good for both the big and little screen. We even hold monthly Zoom video conference sessions to correct your form and help you prepare for upcoming auditions and performances. Go to stuntperformerbootcamp.com for more information. All right, make sure you smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content. Also, make sure to sign up for our Pro Stunt Tips email newsletter so you get professional stunt training tips in your inbox. Lastly, if you'd like more information on our highly popular online stunt training classes, go to stuntperformerbootcamp.com or click on the link below this video. Again, my name is Dylan Wilson with CBT Stunt Alliance. Train hard, perform easy. Don't miss our next video where we share with you another stunt training tip. See you next video.